I'm actually busy recording right now, so if I don't reply immediately, you know why. Oh, my pizza's ready. I'll be right back. So let's get down to business. So for those of you who don't know, about 5 days ago, I gave you guys the opportunity to ask me anything. And well, you guys did your job and now it's my turn to do mine. A number of you got back to me with some really interesting, cracking questions. So without further ado, let's head right into it. Starting off, Kate asked, what is the one experience I wish I could relive regarding my travels? And without a doubt, it has to be my first experience of Budapest in Hungary. Coming straight off the back of learning a new life lesson and going straight into what was an incredible culture, surrounded by some great new friends, and just countless and crazy experiences which I've never ever experienced at that level again. It was supposed to only be 4 or 5 days in Budapest and it turned out to be about 9 or 10. And I have absolutely no regrets despite everything that happened, and probably, hopefully, will never happen again. It was definitely one of the best, if not the best times of my life. So yes, I would probably want to, even though I shouldn't, I would probably want to relive it. Next question, Marley has asked me, what is the best way to find travel buddies? And well, the best way to answer this question is to say, just go somewhere. If you find yourself in a hostel, you will definitely find travel friends. But for those of you who are a little bit afraid of traveling alone, there is always the Lonely Planet Travel Buddy website, which allows you to create posts saying where you're going to be and when you're going to be there, or just to look for other people who have done the exact same thing and you asked to join their trip. It is honestly one of the best ways to go around finding travel buddies, and it connects you with people from all around the world. So definitely a 10 out of 10 from my side. Question number 3 comes from Emma, who asked, what is one of the best non-mainstream travel destinations for 2019? And well, from my personal experience, I'm gonna have to go with either Mozambique, Poland, or Cambodia. Now those are only 3 of the countries which I've personally traveled to, and they've definitely been anything but mainstream, with a lot of culture, not that many tourists. Depending on where you go in Mozambique, for example, where we went to Tofu, and Tofu was just incredible. It was very, very real, and it was just one of the most authentic travel places I've been to. But at the same time, accommodating people who would like to travel or do a little bit of touristing as well. Cambodia, though, for me, was almost like what I expected Thailand to be. It was almost the real Southeast Asia, without all the commercial aspects which you got in Thailand. However, I also haven't been to the likes of Vietnam or Laos, and I know for a fact that they are just as good. And then Poland, because it has such a soft spot in my heart, especially Krakow. As far as I'm aware, Krakow is one of the most student-centralized cities in Europe. And of course, wherever the students are, there are always going to be cheap, budgety places to go, and your buck does go so much further. And that paired with not that many tourists, brilliant views, great experiences, just makes everything so much more worth it. And then a little bit more on the touristy side, another European country which has definitely been called the hidden gem of Europe is Portugal. It is definitely not mainstream yet, but it offers everything the majority of the mainstream holiday getaways in Europe offer. It has incredible beaches, decent prices, and amazing food with great places to go and see and explore. So I would definitely put those on my list of non-mainstream places to visit. Emma's also hit us with question number 4, with her question being, what would I take on a snorkeling holiday? And well, the reality is I've never had a snorkeling holiday and I probably will never have one. But I assume if I were to go on a snorkeling holiday in some different parallel universe, I'd probably take a snorkel, Emma. And let's move on. Kyle has asked, what is the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning? Dude, I wish I knew, but it's probably something to do with food. Unless it's a Tuesday, because then I've got Roman law at 8 AM, which means I'm tired and annoyed. And so there is probably my annoyance at Roman law. Following on from that question, Geordie has hit me up with which country has the best babes. And let's be honest, girls, you guys are incredible all around the world. And I mean that. No matter which part of the world you are, there's always gonna be somebody special. So, if you're a guy or a girl, there will always be somebody for you in a country. And sometimes the places you least expect to find love is where you actually end up finding it. So, go out there with no expectations and find that happiness in reality. Geordie has also asked another good question, which is, when I go traveling, do I use some form of a bank card or do I prefer to just travel on currency? And well, the answer is I kind of do both. Because of my frequent travels, I have managed to find a bank which has allowed me to travel overseas and to use my card with minimal charges and other forms of currency exchanges and all that sort of rubbish. But I also do try and get my hands on a good number of the local currency. So at the moment, the euro is something I always like to have in hard cash. Not only because it's easy to use everywhere around Europe, but also because it's one of the currencies that is easy to change and to exchange in different parts of the world. So yes, I can't do both. Now bringing it back to home, my roommate Paige has asked me, why do I study law? And well, the truth is, the reason I decided to transfer to law was based on a bet that a friend made with me that I couldn't get in.
Say what?
I saw it as an opportunity to push myself, and thankfully I did. And then once I had the acceptance letter, I thought, why not just go for it? And it's something that kind of traveling taught me. When there's a challenge, try and achieve it. Because once you can achieve whatever you set yourself out to, there is nothing stopping you from achieving more. So yeah, that is my funny story as to why I'm doing law, and I'm completely loving it. And it's very, very challenging, but very enjoyable. So definitely one of those experiences for the better. Paige also got another silly question, and that is, if I can change my name, what would I change it to? And well, Paige, the reality is that I can change my name legally, and I haven't, so I probably wouldn't, or I won't. I'm not changing my name, guys. Plus, between you and me, if I did, I'm not too sure my mother would be very happy. Another silly question is, what is my favorite cartoon? My favorite cartoon character is definitely the Minions. Or characters, definitely the Minions. I love those guys. They're cute, they're adorable, and they're just super cool. They're like what I expect society to one day be like. Yay! Easygoing, fun, and just purely authentic. But my favorite cartoon of all times is definitely Scooby-Doo. No, actually wait, maybe Tom and Jerry. I'm gonna say Tom and Jerry and Scooby-Doo just because of my indecisiveness. The next question comes from Aaron, who has asked, what are the best countries for educating yourself on different cultures and different ways of life? And the best way to answer that is each and every single country, but make sure it is one that is the furthest apart from who you are as a person. So for example, I have English family. Putting myself way away from an English speaking country or a country that is predominantly, let's say, European, that's where I'm going to learn a lot more. I wouldn't suggest if you're an English speaking South African to go and live in England. Unless, of course, you're looking for that different form of culture. Because like I said, each country does have its own culture differences and, of course, different ways of life. So no matter where you are, as long as you can take it in and absorb it, you're good to go. Our next question comes from my brother Hugo, who took this opportunity to try and pull my tail, but I'm gonna get one back from him. His question is, why is your brother so much sexier than you? Or better said, why is my brother more sexier than I am? Well, bro, you know, I don't know. It just must be something about this, or that, or that. You know, that just makes you just that much more sexier than me, dude. So honestly, I guess you just won the gene pool, bro. But no, seriously, guys, watch till the end if you want to see what my brother looks like today. We're now coming to the tail end of this Q&A. The next question is, what is the cheapest airline to fly in and around Europe? And without a doubt, it has to go to Ryanair. From tickets as low as €5, really, I cannot fault them despite how uncomfortable and difficult the airline can be. The only kickback is that they charge a premium for baggage. However, if you're tactical about it and you travel the way I do, you only ever have to take a small bag which can be checked in for about €6 or €7 or pounds per flight. And honestly, if I'm paying between 15 and €30 for a flight, I am not going to complain too much because I know for a fact that you can't even get half the way anywhere in and around South Africa on a South African airline for that price. So despite its discomfort and its difficulties, Ryanair does tick all the boxes when it comes to cheap airfares in and around Europe. The second last question we have for today is, what equipment do I use for my travel vlogs? And in fact, I'm really happy that came up today because I have just gone and done a complete sweep of what I used to use, and now I've got the next best thing. When I did the Euro trip 2018-2019, I filmed everything pretty much only on an iPhone 8. However, thankfully I was due for an upgrade and I've now got the iPhone XR, which is definitely going to help with the camera quality and the battery life. But on top of that, I also managed to steal Noah's GoPro Hero 4. And although I haven't really worked out how to use it in its entirety, I'm pretty sure I'll learn soon enough when the time is right. I'll be using my phone and a GoPro, if I can work out how to turn it on. And then of course the big reveal is what I am filming this on. I have recently gone and splashed all of my possible savings on getting a camera worthy of vlogging, and there's none other than the Canon M50. And there you go, there I am vlogging on the camera. Look at this bad boy. Personally, I'm already in love with this thing, and there are so many great experiences which I know we are going to share together. So my little camera crush has to go to the Canon M50. I'm super happy to be able to be vlogging myself on my new vlogging machine, and I am super keen to get this bad boy out there and to go create some great vlogs for you guys. Now, the last question for today is one that not one person or two people, or in fact 3 people have asked me, but literally every single person who's ever asked me a single question on travel. And that is the big money question. The question about how do I afford to travel as often as I do on a student budget. Like I've always said, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will give you guys the full breakdown, the whole crash course, the learning experience. But basically it comes down to the fact that no. What? You cannot travel on a student budget the way I do. So go and give yourself a bigger budget. But Seb, how do we go about doing this? Well, make yourself an asset. Take something and make it better. And that something is often yourself. Recently, whenever somebody's been asking me this question, I just throw it right back at them and I say, well, what do you usually make your money from? And most of the time, as I've experienced in the past, it's usually waitering or bartending or something of the like. Well, one of the questions I always ask is, how many people who are in those situations have spent the time to learn about who tips more, or what skills you can incorporate into your interactions with customers to get them to follow your cause and to tip you more? Because essentially, the idea behind it all is that if you have 3 weeks to work, you spend 100% of those 3 weeks working and making money to the maximum capacity available. That does not mean working for 10 days, but working at 80% and then losing out on 2 days of potential income. Do not go and reward yourself with a beer, reward yourself with travel later. But like I said, we're not going to rush into that right now because we haven't hit 1,000 yet. But a huge thanks to everybody because we recently did hit 200 subscribers, which is incredible, and I'm super happy that for the community which we are fostering. But guys, of course, if you do want to get to that 1,000 mark and you do enjoy what we're doing here and you want more, please go and hit that red subscribe button in that one of the 2 corners. Look in the description for all the links I've put down in the video, all the information, all the URLs. I will put it all there so you guys can go check it out. And please do share this with your friends, get them involved so that we can keep fostering this culture together. And now my question to you guys is, what about this Q&A has made you guys excited to go see a different country, or made you just learn something new that you would never have thought about? Please let me know in the comments below. Until the next one, goodbye.